Greetings, humans. Welcome to today's Monster Monday episode of the Technicolor Mike B show. We are live on YouTube. Yep, so today we are doing Monster Monday, but I decided to take a different direction with today's monsters, looking at the man-made monster. Now, in literature, one of the original man-made monsters was Frankenstein's monsters. And then you could sort of assume that zombies and mutants could also be considered man-made. At least they could happen through man-made accidents of nuclear waste or toxic spills. But what about the computer? The computer is becoming a lot more powerful, a lot more... We rely on computers so much more these days, and earlier this year there were some major hacking events in the news, and that caused panic and prices to rise and just craziness. And that wasn't even a computer taking over the world. So yeah, we're looking at the humanized robots, or humanoid robots, or the android artificial beings designed to look like humans, and what happens when the computer or robots become too powerful. Now, it wasn't exactly a robot, but I remember being, about 11 years old when the movie War Game came out in the early 80s. That's the movie starring Matthew Broderick as a high school student and computer hackman. He uses his home computer initially to change his grades at school, and also to change the grades of his girlfriend. And eventually he has his computer at home, and it has a modem, and he is having his computer call around trying to look for software companies and other computers that will answer the phone. And accidentally he dials up the NORAD supercomputer Whopper, W-O-P-R, the War Operations Plan Response, a big computer. And the computer, when it answers the phone, it more or less asks him, would you like to play a game? And it lists games like chess, checkers, backgammon, and a few other more exotic titles like theater-wide biotoxic and chemical warfare and global thermonuclear war. He decides, hey, let's play a game and let's try this global thermonuclear war. Little does the computer know that this is just supposed to be a game, it's not real life. But the US military has to go on to try to prevent the computer from actually launching a nuclear attack against the Soviet Union. So that is a movie where we've given the computer too much control over our nuclear weapons, and it's ready to start a nuclear war because it's just running a simulation and decides at least initially it's thinking the only way to win the war is to attack, and eventually at the end of the movie it decides the only way to win the war is not to start it in the first place. Yeah, if you could avoid the war, everyone wins. And in sci-fi literature, Isaac Asimov, a writer, came up with the 3 laws of robotics, and he included those laws in some of his books and stories. One of them was partially used as the basis of the movie I, Robot. So the 3 laws of robotics, according to Asimov, are The one, a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. The second law is a robot must obey the orders given to it by a human being, except where the orders would conflict with the first law. And the third law of robotics was a robot must protect its own existence as long as its protection does not conflict with the first or second law. So basically, a robot should do no harm. If a robot can help prevent an accident, prevent someone from getting hurt, it should do that. It should obey whatever commands I give it, as long as I'm not going to tell it to do something that will hurt someone else or myself. But inevitably, in his books, robots start to disobey the law and sort of come to the conclusion that the only way to protect humans is to kill them, take over the world, take their control, do something that sort of is contradictory, or it starts to fear for its own existence, where it thinks, oh no, people are going to unplug me, turn me off, take away my abilities, so it's going to switch into self-preservation mode and attack the people to protect itself. And I think one of the stories that portrays sort of what happens when computers and robots get control is the Terminator franchise. It is a movie that's sort of based on the premise that in the future, computers are in control. The human population has largely been killed off, and they have time travel, and they send a Terminator back into time to change the past. I only really saw the second Terminator film. I don't remember really watching the first one. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is the movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger is the original Terminator, and he goes back in time. This time he is there to protect, what's the kid's name? John Connor from a more advanced robot, the T-1000, who is been set to destroy John Connor and prevent him from leading the resistance. And like some of the other movies, I know there's been a lot of movies dealing with robots, and I was thinking like the Transformer movies, but you have robots, but they weren't human built, or at least we never hear the origin story of how the Autobots and Decepticons came to exist, if they were originally man-made or somehow came. And they're also not from Earth, they're from Cybertron. In Star Trek, you have the Borg, which is part robot, part human, and they are trying to assimilate everyone. Resistance is futile. I believe like the 2001, 2009 series, you had HAL, the computer that was... I'm sorry, Dave, I can't let you do that. So yeah, just different movies where robots get a little bit too much more power. I prefer the friendly robots like R2-D2 and C-3PO, who are there to help and not to destroy us and take over the world, or think that they are somehow protecting us from ourselves and trying to keep us safe by trapping us in our own homes or whatever they need to do. So yeah, just looking at the human-created monsters, and I think those are the most likely monsters that could exist in our future. The man-made robots, where we become too reliant on technology and can't necessarily control them as well as we hoped. So this is our robot balloon. He's all shiny and metallic using the chrome balloons from Qualitex. I guess I should have made that a little bit shorter. His antenna is a little bit longer than I want it, but there you have the robot. So until next time, see you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile, and watch out for the robot invasion. They are coming to take over the world. They are monsters.